Now it's the recording.
Okay, we are live. Welcome everyone to another Monday morning meeting with Telehealth today. Today is July 1st, 2024. My name is James Hongs, and today we have a special leadership coach, speaker, and author that wants to share some things with us. So it's my pleasure to introduce, I apologize if I pronounce the name incorrectly, but I believe it's Mr. Jose Pereira.
You said it well. You said it well. Jose Pereira is okay.
Very good. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having. Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
sir. Yes, sir.
So you want me to begin to introduce myself?
Yeah, please tell us about yourself. Tell us about why someone might book an appointment with you, how you can improve their lives, and what they can expect. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. To the audience that's hearing me, my name is Jose Pereira. So James tried to pronounce it well, but he did his best. But my name is Jose Pereira. Pereira is a Portuguese last name, but I'm Venezuelan born because we in Venezuela had a very large Portuguese immigration in the 1900s and even in the 2000s. So there's a large Portuguese, and part of my family comes there. So I'm not Portuguese, but I have this very popular, by the way, Pereira is very popular in Portugal and in Brazil. So I was a former oil and gas executive that I did a long career in that area, in the oil and gas. I began my career in Venezuela and all my life worked in that area. And at the end of my life, I became the CEO of a large multinational here in the US, in Houston. I live in Houston. That is called Citgo Petroleum. Maybe the people that are here in the US maybe have heard about Citgo because it has like 6,000 gas stations here in the US. So it's very well recognized here in the US. By the way, it's the sixth largest refinery complex in the US. I was the CEO of the company. And that company belongs to Venezuela. That belongs to PDVSA, where I was begin my career. PDVSA is the Petróleos of Venezuela, the national oil company of Venezuela, that some years ago was the second largest company of the world. But unfortunately, Venezuela today has a very bad regime and has destroyed all the economy. And when I became the CEO of that company in 2017, it came to, there was going a lot in the political side because the US government by that time was trying to, force to get retired that regime because it has destroyed the economy. And they began to impose sanctions to the country. And because I was the CEO of that company, it began to be a lot of a stressful situation for us. So I was planning to get retired that time, and I got approved to get retired. That happened in 2017. We're talking about 7 years ago. And planning to get retired, at the last moment, ready to get retired, I received a last-minute call. And that call changed my life because that call resulted to be an ambush. We got caught as hostage by the Venezuelan government because we became the political pawns of the situation that was going on. And that became to be a real nightmare at that time. And that situation for us lasted 5 long years. So we stayed 5 years as international hostage in Venezuela in a flight that I did to back and forward be in one day. We became to be accused to be American spies and committed treason. So big deal. So that situation for us was, as I said, a total nightmare. And the negotiations of the US government to get us released lasted 5 years because very hard negotiation. And we came through a prisoner swap. So I came in a prisoner swap in October 1st, 2022. And when I came back, I was thinking, what I'm going to do with my life? Because, 5 years, now I'm in my 60s. And I said, what are you going to do with your life? So I began to get connected to the hostage community here in the US. And I discovered because I began to help people. I began to help people. I decided, hey, you have all these leadership skills and you went to this terrible situation and now you're helping people. That's why I decided to convert myself in a leadership and resilience coach. So I became a leadership and resilience coach based on my experience, because I decided to create a program. My coaching program is named LPSG, Life Pills for a Survivor Guide, that I crafted based on my own experience. So what I did is I created a program to help CEOs, to help business owners and entrepreneurs that are facing situations in their life, because they don't have to be a hostage like it happened to me. But believe me, people are having struggles in their life. Sometimes their business are failing and they don't know why. Sometimes they're having problems, communication problems, very typical communication problem, having problem of how they integrate their teams, having problem in their workplace, having problems in reaching their goals. Well, this is part of what I to do today, because I decided to incorporate both experience, because I went through a situation. I know how to help them. And this is something that I put in the table to anybody that's hearing me. If you're having problems in your business and in your life, you can call me. We can have a conversation and I can guide you. And I also decided to become a speaker. I decided to become a speaker for two reasons. Because as I said, when I got connected to the hostage community, I began to be invited to speak in events about my situation, the thing that I faced, how is my life after that. And that became to be, for me, part of my healing process. And that's why I really decided to become a speaker. And for me, it was really easy to become a speaker, because having worked in the oil and gas all my life, everybody knows how the oil and gas work is very challenging. So I was very used to make presentation and being a stage making presentation. So for me, my converting a speaker what was very easy. Of course, I had to craft my message. And today I have a keynote speak that is called from fractivity to freedom, embracing with the help of the faith, the hope, and the love. Because what I explain in my speaking gigs is that anything in the life that you're facing, you can overcome it. Anything. Thinking anything in your life that you're having, any adversity, can be in your business, can be in your personal life. Anything you can overcome it, but you need to do several things that I explained in my speaking gig. And that's why I decided to begin to help people there. So I begin to get invited to foundations, to corporations, to NGOs. I have speak in the Congress. I speak in September in the UN. I have been invited to several embassies to talk about this. And I'm more open to begin to talk with open audiences like this, because part of my thing there when I came back is I decided to begin to write my book, my story. And the way I created my book was that during my 5 years of captivity, at some point, like in the first year, because I was having no communication with my family. As I said, the case was very high politic things between the US and Venezuela. So the Venezuelan government took us like a political pulse of the situation. So the negotiation was back and forward very terrible. And we were in the middle, we could not do nothing. And we were incommunicated. So what I did is I began to decide to take the risk, and I began to smuggle letters in the trash cans of the food that I was returning with my wife. And we began to have those back and forward letters coming and going during years. And when I came back, I found that my wife had compiled those letters, and those letters became my memoir. And those letters today are my book. So my book, I decided to call From Hero to Villain, my true story of the Citgo Six, because in my book, I tell the story of the political situation that went with us, all the things that happened to us. But for me, the most important thing is what I call my legacy. And for me, the legacy is exactly that, that even you're going into any situation in your life, name it, thinking any situation that you're going in your life. It can be the darkest moment in your life. But if you had the tools, the mindset, the connections, the tapping of that inner force that you always have inside you, you can always overcome anything in life. So this is part of the message that I put in my book. My book has that profound sentiment of how I begin with a very despair, hopelessness, no clue what was going to be with my life. But in my journey during the 5 years, when it began to improve and it began to get the negotiation, and we were now thinking that we could get released, and we begin to get connected to our spirituality, to our family, to a lot of things that I tell in my book, that changed our mindset, that swift our mindset to be thinking more positive. And we begin to have something that is so important, that is called having faith. Because the faith is the belief of that you cannot see it. So we really begin to have faith that we were going to come back. And one of the things that we discovered, because sometimes when you're going through a situation in your life, and the people that can be hearing me think on this, you can be having anything in your life. And sometimes you try to overcome it, and you are challenging, trying to go and think how to do the things, and you don't find the solution. But you have to think into things that if you get focused in the situation that you're going, you can begin to separate the things that you can control and the things that you cannot control. So now you can get more focused on the things that you can control and try to tackle them, to go and see things that are in your control. And believe me, sometimes the answers are very near to you. Maybe you have it in front and you don't see it. Because when you are in anxiety, in depression, that's what happened. So that happened to us. We were trying to control the situation. Can you imagine you being captured as a hostage in a dungeon, trying to control the situation between the two governments? You will never find it. So we were going through a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression. And when we discovered that we needed to have that in the hands of our family and in the hands of God, because there comes the faith, in the hands of God. I'm now a guy very connected to my spirituality. I'm now a guy very connected to my church. So we decided to get focused on the thing that we really could control. Well, we're there, take care of ourselves. So there comes, take care of your well-being. When you're going to any situation in life, you have to take care of your physical and your mental health, because this is something that really happens, that you're having struggle in life, and then you get so anxiety and so depressed that now your health comes a roller coaster. So we in our case, when we were in that situation, we discovered we needed to come back to our family in one piece with a mental and physical health in a good shape. So we begin to do things that you have to do when you're going to any situation in life. By the way, this morning I do a radio show that I discuss my newsletter that I write every Sunday. And my newsletter this Sunday was going back to your spiritual resilience through the faith. Because when you discover that the faith is the base of everything, having the faith is the base of everything. So now you can go back and see the situation that you're going in your life. And then you have to begin to do things like meditating, praying. People don't think that the pray helps. Pray helps. Expressing gratitude. Even in the worst moment, express gratitude. Because when you express gratitude, you connect with God. Get surrounded with the people that love you. Get surrounded with the people that love you. and get connected to your inner force and your spirituality and change your mindset. Even in any situation in life, have a positive mindset. And that's what we did. We were in the dungeon, but we decided to have a positive mindset. When you do all these things, so now you're in another situation, you become more resilient. You got a spirituality resilience because that is something that comes inside you. So this is part of my message to the audience that's hearing today, that anything in life, you can really overcome it. You can be going in the darkest moment in your life or in the darkest moment in your business. You can be going in troubles in your business from the financial point of view, or can be going in problems from the structure of your business. It's failing, it's not working, you're not reaching your goals. You feel that every time you're trying to get there, you're having failures. You can be having problems in your not only in your economy, you can be problems in your life. You can be having problems in your health or somebody that's near to you, or you can be having problems in any situation in your life. But believe me, if you apply techniques that we applied, because it's not that I'm talking here that something that I took there, things that we did during 5 years, 5 years that we went through, and we discovered that these things work. When I came back, my friends, I went to a big trauma center. Today, that guy became my friend. By the way, he's the guy that did the prologue of my book. His name is Brian Kloster. So when we were talking, I remember he telling me, Jose, you did a lot of things that we recommend to the people to go to anything in life. But we did it in a very common sense way. And we decided to craft it in what today is my coaching program. As I said, my coaching program, it's called Life Built for a Survivor Guide. That is basically based on the situation we went through during 5 years that we decided to put in the program. So anybody that's hearing me that today is having problems, you can contact me and we can talk about this, how we can, because my coaching is very one-on-one. I do things in a very one-on-one. I don't do massive coaching. And anyone that want to get in their audience, to get connected with me, to speak to them, I'm today promoting, because I'm promoting my book. So what I'm doing, I'm telling the people, you want me to go to your stage physically or virtually? Okay, I'm asking the people only purchase my book, and that's what I'm doing, because I want to promote my book. My book, I wanted to promote it for 3 reasons. The first one is very personal. It's telling my story. I want to tell my story. I want to tell what happened to us. And the way I put my letters was because I didn't know it was gonna come back. So I really was thinking at the beginning that maybe that could be the testament for my family if I never came back. So today I had the fortune, the grace that I could put in a book. So that's my first goal, tell my story. Second, that today I really advocate for the hostage community. So this is something terrible that the people doesn't know that's happening here in the US and in the world. Here in the US are more than 100 Americans today going through this situation in several countries. There are people that are kept 12 years in China, 7 years in Iran, 10 years in Afghanistan, 12 years in Syria, 9 years in Cuba, 7 years in Myanmar. There are a lot of people in this situation today. So today I'm very connected to the foundation that help to the families and the people. So part of my book, part of the proceed I'm going to use is to support the foundation, because for me, it's now like a calling, help them. And the third thing is my legacy. As I said, the legacy that anything in your life, you can overcome it. So we went through that dark situation during 5 years, And we went through a lot of things, and believe me, we were through terrible things. But we were 6 guys. That's why we were called the Citgo Six, because I was working at Citgo. We were 6 guys. The press put that name. So being 6 guys going through the situation, and we came back in one piece, the six, is remarkable. It's very remarkable. It was because the six decided to create this survival plan, and the 6 of us did it during 5 years. And now I'm talking here to you. So this is my message, my friend. This is my message to the people that is hearing this, that anything in the life, you can survive it. If you want to hear more, it's very easy. My webpage is www.joseconnect. Very easy. Jose Connect together, joseconnect.com. You go in joseconnect.com, you can find my coaching program. You will see all the coachings that I do. You can find my speaking. I have this keynote speak, but I have others speak too. You can see videos of my speaking there, and testimonies and references that I have there. You can see my book, and you can see another thing that I'm doing there. As I said, today I have this radio program every Monday. I have been doing several podcasts talking about this. You will see my newsletter that I publish every week. Every week I'm talking about leadership and resilience, because this is my topic. So my newsletter is called Building Resilience. You will see everything in my webpage, and you will see all the links to the places that my book is today being published: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Lulu, Draft to Digital, and like 10 more digital platforms. So you can find all over. You can have it in ebooks, hard copy, paperback, small version, large version, etc. So, well, this is today, my friends, my conversation. Anything else you can open if anybody has some questions. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, and I definitely do have a few questions for you. But that was quite a touching story. So my first question, especially because you touched on, I want to promote my book this. So my first question, when I hear your story, I think of, okay, you're accused of treason, you're a villain, but you get together with 6 guys, you work on positivity, you become a hero. But your book isn't from villain to hero, it's from hero to villain. Why did you choose that name?
Very, very good question. You know why? Because maybe I didn't mention the circumstance. Let me put it here. October 2017, I decided to get retired. So I flew to Caracas, and I talked with my boss and said, I'm tired of this situation, because, as I said, the political tension between Venezuela and the US were really, really hard. So, I was the CEO of a company that was here in the US, but that belonged to the Venezuelan government. For me, I was like in the middle of the pressure. So I was having a lot of pressure. So I talked to my boss, and I said, by the time I had 35 years in the company. So I finally, back and forward, get approved to get retired. So I come back to the US, ready to get retired. So 1 month after, in November, I'm in retirement mode, preparing my Thanksgiving, preparing my vacations, and preparing to get retired in January. I was with my wife in a movie, and I received a phone call. And the phone call was, you have to be tomorrow here in Caracas to an urgent meeting. So that urgent meeting was an ambush, because I flew to Caracas. But the situation was that we were revamping a refinery in Aruba, a big refinery, a 200,000 barrel per day refinery. And the project was going really well. So I did the presentation. I do the presentation about the revamping of the status of the revamping of the refinery, and was a crowd of almost 1,000 people. And that I received standing ovations, and I received congratulations, and everybody knew that I was going to get retired. So that was my last appearance as a current CEO of Citgo Petroleum, and I received a standing ovation. So I said, wow, what a way to finalize your career. I was in the end of my career. standing ovation that I was doing great, and I was going to retire, and that never happened. Minutes after came the military counterintelligence police, and they caught me, and they charged me to be a spy in American and committed treason, and they put us handcuffed, and we were heading to a dungeon for the next 5 years. So I became in 1 minute from hero, in another minute became the worst of the villain, because they accused us to be American spy. So I became from hero to villain. That's why I decided to put that name. That's the reason. It's not the opposite, because we were a hero, and in minutes we became the worst of the villain, the way they treat us. So that's the name of my book.
Wow, that's good. That's a touching story, and a good life lesson too, because you could work your whole life, finally feel like you're somewhere really where you want to be, right? Finally get there, and then it all turns around, and you got to be prepared.
And this is the message to the people, that things happen inadvertently. I don't want to upset nobody, but believe me, when adversity comes, it comes. It will never announce. Imagine my case. I am a guy with 35-year career. Very wonderful career, because I did a meteoric career during 35 years. So now I'm the CEO of a company, in my pinnacle of my career, and getting retired in the pinnacle of my career. And in 1 second, I lost everything. Because in 1 second, I lost even the control of the thing that I wanted to eat the last day. I didn't know what was going on. I lost even the communication. So you can go mad. You really can get mad. But we decided, because everybody has that inner force. Everybody has that inner force. Believe me, you can be going to any situation in your life, but if you on tap that inner force that you have, you can do things beyond what you think you can do. That's what we did. People tell me, how you can survive 5 years? Well, we did it. When I came back, I remember we landed in a military base here in San Antonio, Texas, because we came under the protection of the U.S. government. And we landed in that base, and all my family was waiting me in the hangar. When I came back, when I landed, and I was, in the tarmac going to the hangar, my daughter saw me, and she told me, "Dad, I saw you like you were coming from a vacation," because I was smiling and I was in a cool mode. Because you know why? I was so proud what we did. So when I was coming in the plane, I said, "Wow, Jose, you made it. You did it. You put all your thoughts that you were gonna come back, and we made it. And we made it, and we came back." I'm not gonna say that life after hasn't been easy, because there is a new beginning, because you come like in a time machine. But when you have the proper mindset, you can be overcoming anything in life, because things will always happen, my friend. Always you will have struggle. Always. This is what life is. But having the proper mindset, you can overcome anything. That's my message.
That's very good. That's very good. And I have 2 more questions. My next question kind of plays on what you just said. When you were actually locked up, what would you say was the number one thing that helped you? Was it like praying? Was it having gratitude, maybe a gratitude journal? Was it talking with your friend? What was like the number one thing that really helped you survive, stay positive, and stay where you
pray? We begin to pray a lot. We begin to do like a 3 hours Bible studies and praying every night before sleeping. We like around 8 a.m. in the night, we gather all. We begin to read the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, and we begin to analyze it. And we found a lot of answers there. Even we were reading in the Psalms things that said, this is what we're having. This is what we're happening. Remember that the Bible always is talking about people that went through terrible situation, and because they connected to God, they did great things. That's what the Bible is. It's a book that gives you a message of faith, a message of hope, even in the most terrible circumstance. So when you find that solace in the Bible, you begin to have a lot of strength. So praying and reading the Bible was the first thing. The second thing was the connection with the family. For me, first God and second my family. And maybe both can compete, but God is everything. So the connection with the family, when the family begin to really fight hard with us, and we knew what was going on, because now I'm smuggling letters, I'm getting more information what's going on. So I'm knowing all the conversations, all the things are going. My wife went 2 times to the White House, and she was talking with the State Department. It was a lot of connection with the people really working hard to bring us back, because unfortunately that case went really, really, really political. So we were caught in that situation. So but now praying and connected to the family gave us a lot of strength.
That's good. That's good. That's a good message. Thank you. And then my last question, I'll let somebody else have a chance. You, in your message, you seem to speak, or at least as a leadership speaker, author, do you speak to CEOs and business owners and entrepreneurs more than others? And if so, why?
Well, because I have been really very connected to the foundations that work in the hostel community. I have been speaking in a lot of NGOs and foundations, a lot. I have been speaking even in church. I want to begin to speak more to CEOs, to tell you the truth, but I have been more concentrated in the area. One of my goals this year is begin to talk more to CEOs. So anybody that's hearing me, I'm really, really eager to begin to talk to ECOs, communities, corporations, chambers, any group that is in the area. I'm really, really open to that. And as I said, because I promote in my book, I'm even giving the let's say the package that if somebody wants to have me in their virtual event, there's a package of book they can buy, give to their employees. And I have been doing it, by the way. I did like 2 of these last week with 2 communities. We have virtual events, so they bought me 10 books, and I gave to them and I signed it. So I'm very open to that.
Very good. Thank you. Does anyone else here listening have any questions, Jose?
Sure, I have. My dogs are a little bit crazy, so maybe Sean wants to go first, but I have questions, of course. So I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, very good.
Okay. Okay. No, I like. I mean, I have a lot of questions, and some of the questions already were asked by James. But I like the CEO topic, and of course, I was also a CEO of small startups, and I'm connected to many CEOs. And what I learned from your message today is it's really going in 1 second, right? Or in a couple of minutes, right? From hero to villain, and what it just explained. And this is what I also see very often in businesses, right? So of course you try to avoid everything that your company crashes, maybe, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
I also had it in my life. I had 2 startups. One was successful, one was going to bankruptcy, and you do everything to avoid it and to admit it, and then it happens. And then there is this day or this minute where you decide, okay, now I have to commit. It didn't work. I have to fill in the papers for the court and admit it didn't work, right? And I think, I mean, my company was a small one. I didn't have a lot of employees. It was comparable to other companies. It was comparably easy, right? But still, it was heavy for me. And for others, they have maybe 100 employees, 1,000 employees, whatever, 5,000. It's really hard, right? And it can feel very similar to that, right? From one day to the other. And yeah. So,
This is something that is more common that we think. By the way, even I went through that situation, and I'm not saying that when my situation of captivity happened in November 2017, my wife had 1 month that she had opened a store because, as I said, I was planning to get retired, so we decided to open a store here in Houston. And she stayed with the store for more than 5 years. During all my captivity, that store that was supposed to be my plan B came my plan A, B, C, D, and F, all the plans, because I could survive because of the store. My wife kept feeding me, sending me food and medicine, etc., during 5 years. And so, but when I came back, because now the pandemic hit it hard, a lot of the store, she began to struggle with the store at some point. And when I came back, I began to see the numbers, and I said, I believe that this is the time to close this store, because it was like a cycle. And I told her, you know what, that store was put it to God, to us, to make us survive during these 5 years. So we decided to close the store, and we decided to begin another business, because one of the things that happen in life is that things in life have cycles. It can be maybe can last 20 years, 30 years, maybe can last 1 year. So part of the resilience of anybody that is in as an entrepreneur is maybe you can have failures, but you have to bounce back and keep going. Keep going. The most successful people in life always have failures, always. And
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's life.
This is actually my main questions, because about the other topics we already talked, and you now clarified it also for your own life, also this experience with your own startup, or the startup of your wife. But now you have the situation, and from 1 minute to the other, or from one day to the other, you have these troubles, and then you learn from this, right? And then you think you're now back on the hero side. But and I think we are always think, or we are, I don't know, we human think we can omit it, or we can avoid to have such a situation again. And I think this is what many people do as the first priority, but probably this is not good to have it as a first priority, because it can happen a second thing and a third thing. But if you learn from what you experienced before, and if you prepare the next time not to be, I mean, you will be always surprised, because the next thing you experience will be different, and it will be challenging again. But you can prepare inside, and with your faith, and what you said with Bible study and praying and so on, you can prepare that the next time, and there will be the next trouble for sure, but the next time when you have this trouble, that you go through it better prepared, right? Or how would you explain it? This is what I really learned from my first study. It goes like inside us, right?
Because this is part of the plan of God, my friend, because everybody has a plan already written in the book of the life. You don't know it, but there is a plan for your life. Sometimes in your life, you will go, there are people that doesn't have problem in their life. Good for them. There are people that always are having problem in their life. So there are a lot of difference. Like what you're saying, if you go down and you bounce back, now you have experience. So next time you're more prepared. And I don't know how much more you're going to fail. But the situation is that you really have to continue going. The problem with the human nature is that sometimes you have a failure and you stay there. Mostly that's what many people do. They fail and they stay there. They say, no, I'm not good for this, and they quit. So part of that, building that resilience, has to be connected to your spirituality, connected to God, because the God is who really gives that strength to you. And when you connect to the faith, that you say, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I truly believe that I'm gonna do it. So now you're in another mindset. And that changed everything. Remember, the things that you think and the things that you say it becomes your reality. So it's part of the way you begin to see the things. I'm not saying that it's easy, because today the world is very challenging. But if you're more prepared, you are more connected, you can be more adapted to the situation in life. Because this is another thing. One of the most important things today in anybody's in a leadership position is be adaptive. Be adapted to the change. You can be having changes every day, so you need to be adapted. If you have a mindset that you no, I'm not going to do that. For example, AI. Putting an example, AI. If you are a leader and you're not using AI, you're behind. So this is part of the adoption. Is a tool. Is there. It is part of the things that are being used. You have to use it. The way you decided to adapt is what is gonna keep you going. And as you said, the failure will always be there, always.
Yeah, I think you said there are people who never have a problem, and it's good for them. I'm not sure whether it's really good for them. I think the stronger people are those who have these problems in life, right? And with every problem, with every challenge, you grow more. If you always avoid these challenges, it's not so easy to grow. What is your experience?
Well, I always put the example of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs did a very famous speech in Stanford, very inspiring, where he talks about his life and put the example that when he was fired from his company. At some point when Apple began to grow, he contracted a CEO, and the CEO fired. So he got fired of his own company, and he tells the story that when he was fired, he stayed like 6 months depressed. And one day he said, hey, Steve, wake up, move on. And he created Next. He created another company called Next, and became successful. And at some point, Apple bought Next, and he came back to Apple and made Apple what it is today. Well, he passed, but he left a legacy. And he told in that speech that he learned that he needed to fail. He needed to get fired to become the man he finally became. So this is a good example how sometimes your failure made you stronger. And when you come back, you come stronger. And sometimes when you see back the mirror, you can say, okay, I understand that I needed to have that failure to be today where I am. Sometimes that's what happens.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that touched me a little too. I'm a big Bruce Lee fan. He says, "Be water." That's exactly what you're talking about with adaptability.
Yeah.
That's really good. And one thing I'll add too, our failures do make us stronger. Sometimes they're not even failures. When Thomas Edison was asked why he failed 1,000 times at making a light bulb, he said, "I didn't fail." He said, "I just learned 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb."
Correct. Yeah.
So what doesn't kill us makes us stronger.
That's a very positive attitude. Yeah. Everything is matter of attitude. Everything is matter of attitude. The way you see the things, if you see the things in a positive way, even if you're going in any bad situation, you begin to see the things different.
Yeah. And I like what Werner said too, where it's like you can spend all the time you want trying to prevent bad stuff from happening. You're not going to do it, but you can spend your time preparing yourself for anything that might be coming.
Yeah. But let me tell you something, that even that's true, you can be very prepared, but when the failure comes, the adversity comes, it's difficult, because normally the people, even if you're trained, nobody's prepared for something dramatic in your life. So you get when something really dramatic happened in your life, at the beginning you got like why this is happening to me? You begin to deny things. You begin to say why this is happening to me? Because that gives you anger, that gives you anxiety. Why this is happening to me? So that's why if you stay there, well, okay, you stay there, period. But if you decided to say, okay, this is my situation, this is my reality, and now I have to try to see how I I come out of this. So that is where the things change. When you decided to take that, break that moment and say, okay, now I'm gonna move on. And you decided to move on, that's where the thing changed.
That's good. Well, I think. Oh, I see Sean. Go ahead.
So I appreciate what Jose said at the beginning, that resilience is something that's in everyone,
Yes.
right? Many will go through extremely difficult, extremely challenging situations. Some as dramatic as Jose's, some much less dramatic, but they will challenge us. And resilience is in us if we just allow it. So I really appreciated that. And in my learning, I learned, you know, a lot of, as you said, Jose, a lot of people say, why me?
Mhm.
And I say, why not me?
Mhm. Mhm.
What makes me so special that this
Correct.
can't happen to me? You know, instead of looking at why me, why not me? Why, and accepting it, but not only accepting this difficulty, this challenge, this horrible situation, real freedom has come in actually being grateful.
Yeah.
For the situation, even as bad as any situation might be. When you can embrace it with gratitude, everything shifts.
I always and that people ask me, are you trying to say that you're grateful what happened to you? And I said, I'm not gonna say that I'm being grateful for the terrible situation I went, but I'm grateful of the lessons that I learned through that situation. For me, it's a grace. It's a grace because, as I said today, I can speak about it. I can help others because I went through it. I'm not deep talking here. I went through it. I went to a situation that we really overcame it. And the way we did it, we did this. Okay, tell the people do this, and because that is human nature. That is human nature. We are human beings, and that's the way we connect with the people. And let me tell you something. I'm going to say something else here. I was a CEO, but I was with a political prisoner of Venezuela. I was not in a common jail. I was with a politician, a religious guy, a journalist, militaries, high-ranked people. And you know what connected us, all of us? Because we're all in the same ordeal, and we are simple human beings going through an ordeal. So we connected, we created bonds with them and their families. And today, I know a lot of those people that I would have never met in my life. And now I connect with all these guys because this is the way that people connect, being human beings. So that's what really makes the connection. Because we are simple human beings. All of us bleed,
So true, so true. So I have a question for you, Jose.
Mm-hmm.
How would your life be different if this hadn't happened? Where would you be today?
Great question. That's a great question. Let me tell you, let me begin that question with a reflection that, as I said, today I'm very connected to my church. I do church service, and 2 weeks ago, church service of two Sundays ago, my pastor, he was talking about that when God helps you, he does two types of things. He does something called the intersection and something that is called the intervention. When God does the intersection, is that he intercepts before something bad happened to you. But when he intervenes, he takes you and grabs you of the bad situation. And he always said that when he intersects, he protected you that something bad happened to you. And when he intervenes, he takes you from the hole, but sometimes there is going to be a loss because you already were in the hole. I really believe there are situations he intervened. He did an intersection, because if this hadn't happened to me, maybe I died by a heart attack. I was having so much pressure with the tension to go in there. I was having problems to sleep. I was having high anxiety. I was having problems with my heart. I was having the blood sugar was skyrocketed. So I was really to get a bump. So when this situation happened to me, now in a very bad situation, but now I don't have in those type of problems. So really, I begin to sleep good. My sleep begin to go good. I today I don't have problem with blood pressure. I don't have problem with the diabetes, because I corrected a lot of things. So even when I was in a very bad situation, God protected me. That happened to me. So that if I haven't gone to this situation, maybe I would have died. And this is a reflection, by the way. I tell it in my book. I said that when we went to the flight to go to Venezuela that November 2017, God was protecting us. He was putting us in another place, but he was protecting us, because this is another thing. He doesn't put a proof that you cannot bear. He doesn't put a proof that you cannot bear. So it's kind of mysterious, but this is the way this God works. This is the mysterious way God works. Wow, very good questions.
Any more questions for Jose while we have him here? It has been a pleasure. It has been quite a story.
Well, my friend, thank you for having me. And
yeah, thanks for being here. Any closing thoughts or one sentence to leave our guests with?
Well, my thoughts to the people that, as I said, things like happen, and in anybody that's hearing this in the recording and my message resonate to them, what I have to do is contact me. Jose Connect is my webpage, or LinkedIn, and they can DM me. And again, I'm promoting my book, so anybody that wants to have me in any audience, just contact me, and I can go and talk and give some books. Okay, so this is my message. I'm really trying to spread my message. It's like a calling that I have for this. So that is my final message.
Very good. And as always, you'll be able to find Jose on telehealthtoday.net. So check him out, check us out. Thank you all for being here. And until next Monday.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank
Okay,
you, Jose. It was a pleasure.